Hello, Miss Pam.
Hi, Trish. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's such a beautiful, bright day out.
It is. It's so nice out. I'm so excited. We're talking about sell-through rate.
Woo! Hi,
Yay!
everyone.
Hey everybody. Hey, Laura's in the chat. She's so cute. Brian's resale shop. Is that our Brian? Todd's here. Gina's here. Robin's here. Hey guys, it's so nice to see you. We really appreciate the support, especially on such a fun topic.
Woo! It's
Listen,
almost as bad as taxes, right?
I know it's true. And both of them are very, very necessary, right? So the thing about, yep, it's Brian Conway. That's what I was trying to figure out if it was. Chris is here. Hey, Kara. Hey, Tommy. Um, the thing about this specifically is this can make or break a reseller.
For sure.
And it isn't that exciting, as in fun to do or fun to talk about, really. Pam
It
and I
can
are
be.
gonna. It
It
can
can
be.
be if you find an item and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes. Especially when you don't know what it is, or you just looked it up just to see what the heck it was, and then you're like, holy crap, this is a 300% sell-through rate. I'm buying this immediately. Yes, you are absolutely right. But the idea of doing this for every item, a lot of people start that way and then they fade off and they don't do it as much. And I am going to challenge you to say that this is so important. And it is really important if you're trying to change up categories, if you're trying to get to the next level, if you're brand new, very, very important. I don't think the importance diminishes, if you know what I mean, Pam. What do you think?
For sure. No, absolutely. And as an everything seller, sell-through rate is so important to me. It makes my determination as to whether I buy it or not. If there's 200 items listed and 10 have sold, I'm not buying it.
Right, exactly.
And that's the
So,
simple form of it.
yeah, absolutely. So, sell-through rate, what is it and why do we talk about it? We're going to learn how to calculate and apply sell-through rate to identify strong comparables when sourcing. A lot of people, when they first start, they just go and they look on eBay and they see what's available. Well, doesn't matter what's freaking available.
It does
It
not.
only matters what sells.
I mean,
So,
it does matter what's available when you compare it to what's sold.
oh yeah. But what I mean is if you're not looking at your solds, it does not matter what's available, because you could have a million available or two available. If the million has 100% sell-through rate, you want to buy it even though there's there other million. If there's only 5 of them and it has a 2% sell-through rate, you may not want, or zero, you may not want to buy it even though there's very few of them on eBay. So,
Crystal's here. Barbara's
hey,
here. Hey. And actually, Crystal loves this topic.
she does.
That's
Well, I
awesome.
think Crystal's recognized how much of a impact it has had on her business, right? So I think some of us, I am not this person. I never bought through sell-through rate. I always bought blindly. I bought at a very low cost of goods, but I wasn't allowed to pick. So because of that, I didn't really look at sell-through rate. And the sell-through rate on my store is very poor because of the way I buy. But I also pay very little for the inventory. So there's a trade-off. If you are picking, this becomes more and more important. So Pam, tell us, if you go to, what's your favorite place to source?
Yard sales.
Okay, so when you go to a yard sale, do you look it up right there?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
I try not to look everything up, but I am not that confident of a reseller either. So I don't do the math calculation when I look things up. I typically look to see how many are listed and how many have sold, and then determine that way if it's a good buy or not. But I don't do the specific STR calculation.
Okay, so let's talk about the definition of STR. STR is sell-through rate. So going forward, we might say STR or sell-through rate. Those are interchangeable. And what it really is measuring is how quickly inventory will sell within a specific time frame, right? eBay defaults to 90 days, just so everybody knows. Now, you can go in and change the time frame. So you can see how many sold in 30 days, etc. But it defaults to the 90. So the formula is items sold divided by items listed times 100. All right. So if you listed 100 items and you sold, now this is for your, if you're doing your
Personal
self-service
store, yeah.
store, right? If you listed 100, 25 sold, the STR is 25%. But the same thing for when you're buying. If there's 100 listed and 25 sold, it's still 25% in 90 days. Okay. So, and the 90 days is important. It's not 30, it's 90. So you should be able, with a 25% sell through rate in 90 days, that means it will sell within a year. What happened?
I think your internet is unstable. It's either you or me. You started circling at one point in time.
Okay. I don't know if it was me or you. If somebody could put in the
I know
chat.
nobody's saying anything in the chat, so I'm like, is it me? Is it her? I don't know.
Okay. So why STR matters for resellers? Both of you are fine. Keep going, Clara said. Okay, good. Why STR matters for resellers? For sourcing, it tells you actually what's selling, what is not listed. As I said before, we don't care what's listed. We only care what sells. So for sourcing, the sell-through rate is always going to tell you what is selling, which is the most important. For inventory planning, it helps you it helps avoid overstocking or overlooked items, meaning maybe you're somebody like me who's just drawn to pocketbooks, right? I always had a ton of pocketbooks. They were a slow seller though. So figuring out, okay, Trish, you got enough pocketbooks. They don't sell very fast. Buy something else, you moron. You know what I mean? For that kind of stuff. It also helps with pricing. High sell-through rate categories can support higher prices sometimes. So if you have something that sells very, very quickly, it's because it's in demand and it may demand a higher price. So that's something to look over. And the last thing is for cash flow. The faster your turnover is, the quicker you can reinvest that money, right? So if you're going to buy something at, let's say at, a pallet size, you want to figure out how long you're going to have to sit on that pallet before you get your money back out. And so knowing the sell-through rate of the items inside it will help you figure out if that pallet is a good investment and how quickly you can return your investment to be able to buy something else. So all 4 of those are very important. Which one of these do you think about for sell-through rate the most, Pam?
I probably I'm on the sourcing side of it. Like I said, I pretty much want to see if it has a chance of selling in the near future when I look it up. I mean, if I think it's really cool, maybe I will purchase it, but there can't be, 100 or 200 of them and not selling very often for me to purchase it. It just isn't making
Especially because you have inventory space restrictions. Right? I mean, you don't have unlimited. Somebody like me, I mean, I have a lot of space, so I could sit on something longer than maybe you would want to.
I mean, I have a lot more space now than I did 6 months ago. Thank goodness. So I don't know if the space is my biggest deal. It's just that I have so much inventory that I don't want something that's either going to A, take up a lot of space, or B, take a long time to sell right now.
Okay. So how to use STR when sourcing. So research before you buy. If you are trying to get to the next level, if you're brand new at this, sell-through rate is your best friend and you want to know how to do it. And you want to know how to do it quickly. And so you want to calculate it for comparisons. So what you do is you're going to find the total active number of a listing. So, and just so everybody knows, I've used eBay for this presentation only. Poshmark is very hard to get these numbers. Etsy, you can find some stuff, but eBay, you can find the numbers. And so eBay makes finding the sell-through rate very simple. And Chicken Toad wrote, I source for Etsy as well as eBay. So my items sell-through rate on eBay might be crap, but it will still go on, I think she meant Etsy, even though I assume it will sell on Etsy. Oh, it might still go on eBay, even though I assume it will sell on Etsy. And that's a thing you need to keep in mind. Not every platform is exactly the same, right? Some things may sell quicker somewhere else, but eBay gives us the information. And so eBay is the one that I can rely on to do these kind of calculations.
Yeah, eBay's the only one that I look at when I'm determining the sell-through rate and whether or not I'm going to buy something. Very rarely will I go into Poshmark to see what's on there because I think that eBay is my main selling platform. So that's the one that makes the most sense for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just realized I put sold divided by active equals STR. That's not true. It's sold divided by active times 100 equals your sell-through rate. So that's on the next page. I apologize that I messed that up. So these are my opinion. I just wanted like to say this benchmark. I did ask Susie and you and Crystal today if you guys would agree with these benchmarks, and all three of you did. So I feel pretty good, but I want to know, these are just the benchmarks that I use. These are the benchmarks that I tell people who I talk to about this to use. This is not some magic formula from eBay that eBay says or Etsy says. This is Trish says. So just so everybody knows. So the benchmarks that I use are over 80% sell-through rate. It's a very, very strong item. Should buy it all day long. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Over 50% sell-through rate, I believe is still very strong. 30 to 50, I think is average. 10 to 20 is below average. And under 10, it's a very slow mover or a saturated niche. Now, that 30 to 50% sell-through rate is usually where most people's items fall. Okay.
Agreed.
So most people are in that all of the time, and you're looking for the higher stuff and hoping to stay away from the lower stuff. But if you are a used clothing seller, it's very difficult to get away from that 30%. That 30, even 25 to 35% is kind of where you sit, which is why a lot of times used clothing sellers are a volume-based business, because the only way you can overtake a bad sell-through rate is by selling in volume.
Exactly. So, Chris agrees with you. She says in most clothing, she believes that they're below the STR.
Yep. I think some of them are in their average, but I totally agree with her. Absolutely agree with her.
Because there's just so many options to choose from in clothing.
Exactly. It is used clothing. I mean, it is not just used clothing on eBay. It's used clothing in the world, right? Correct. We have an abundance of clothing in the United States and across the world. And so selling it becomes in my opinion, a numbers game. And you have to be able to put up enough things if you want to just be a used clothing seller to be able to make real money. Unless you are really focusing on a smaller niche within a used clothing category that you can just have a higher sell-through rate. I think, used clothing in itself can get very tricky in that way.
Agreed, 100%. That's why we had a conversation yesterday about what to do with the clothes that you get that you can't sell, because it's a problem with it, because there is just so much clothing out there, and we don't want it all going to the landfill, but that's a whole other topic. But just to reiterate, there's just so much of it out there. So the fact that we can, resell it is fantastic. Even if it does have that lower sell-through rate, at least there's people still buying it.
Agreed completely. Clara. Oh, hi, Clara. And Clara just said to sell it on Whatnot. Okay. So then I pulled a few examples. Let's look at a few things. And on the next slide, it has all of the math. So these Oakley Legacy Football Shield sunglasses. Now, first of all, I want you all to know, I don't even know what that means. I just saw a pair and I looked them up because this is not my realm of expertise. But there were 4 for sale on eBay today. All right. So then when you go into eBay, if you use the left-hand navigation, I am talking about desktop right now. You can also do this on mobile. Desktop was easier for me to finagle the screenshots and things. Using the left-hand navigation, let's go down towards the bottom and hit your solds. Okay, so hit completed listing and sold listing. This will default to 90 days. I would leave it. I think 90 days is a good comparison. Most things that we're going to get are not going to be things that sell faster than that. And there were 8 sold on eBay in the last 90 days. So if you use the STR, items sold divided by items listed times 100, that means that this has a 200% sell-through rate. So would you buy this product?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's not even a question at 200% whether you would buy it. Now, the only question would be, can I get it at a price that makes it worth investing to get the money back out? Now, in my opinion, the faster something will sell, the more I'll spend more money on it, right? I would spend 100 to make 150 because I could get it out so fast. That's a personal preference for me. Everybody is going to have their own level of comfort on that kind of stuff. But the sell-through rate, to me, shows that you can spend more money on that item.
Right. If it had a 25% sell-through rate, I don't know if I would spend that. You've got to sit on that $100 investment for quite some time.
Exactly. If you are 100% right, if it was a 25% sell-through rate and the item was $100 and I could get 150, I wouldn't do it. I agree with you.
You got to sit on that way too long.
Agreed. So this is actually from Pam. So I think Maze. I don't know. It's French. And it is Maze polish, and it is for polishing metal. So tell us the story.
So I happened upon an estate sale, and I went in and I was digging through like the garage area or one of those cabinets, and I'm just looking at all the different things because I like to find stuff in there that's new that hasn't been used before.
Yes.
Excuse me. Oh my goodness. And I came across this box. It was a cardboard box about this big, and it wasn't opened. So I opened it up, and there was this pristine box of polish in there. And I'm like, I wonder what this is. So I looked it up on eBay, and I'm like, wow, this thing's going for like $40 all day long. So I threw it in my bag, and I just bought a bulk bag of stuff for like $65. And that was just one of the multiple things that were in there. And this item sold for me probably in 24 hours, if not less.
So right this second there was 150 for sale on eBay. And then I did the solds, and 110 had sold in the last 90 days. This is Pam's actual listing that sold. She got $37.76 plus $6.99 shipping. And has a 73% sell-through rate, but it sold within 24 hours.
I mean, buy it all day long.
Yes. And the thing is that 73% is a little skewed because I did new and used product. If I had done just new, it did go way up. But there was a lot of unspecified. So I just thought it would be great just to show the product as is, because I think it's good for new and used. It's evidently not made much anymore. And the older stuff had other stuff in it. So it's almost like a be on the lookout for kind of product.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I like to look for at estate sales is things like this. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And, Trish and I both looked it up, and we still don't really know what it is other than some polish for metal.
We really and the whole thing was in French.
I know it was. There was a different language on the box. I'm like, I don't know, but it looks good. I'm going to buy it anyway. And just somebody will want it, obviously.
Exactly. And they did. They really did. Okay. And this is something that I sold recently. This isn't my listing. I couldn't find mine, so it must have been a little while ago, but it was a Walmart polo shirt. Literally a polo shirt that you would wear like to work. Had the little Walmart logo on it. And to me, this is pretty amazing. There's 162 for sale at this moment, right? But 418 sold in the last 90 days. Who would have thought? No, I did that wrong. 418 available, 162 sold. Sorry, I apologize. I screwed that slide up, but it's a 38. Who still would have thought it was a 38% sell-through rate? I put it up because I got it for free, and I just figured no one's ever going to buy this. And it had a 38, almost 40% sell-through rate. And to be honest with you, if I could buy it at the bins, I would. For me, that's a perfectly acceptable sell-through rate for me personally.
For used clothing, general.
I'm sorry?
Used clothing. For general used
clothing. Used clothing, exactly. That works for me. The almost 40% is actually a little higher than my average. So for me, if I could get that for less than $1, I'm buying it. Now,
because it also gives movement in your store, which helps as well.
Right. But would you buy it?
Probably
you can
not.
Say probably not.
Probably not.
Right. You're an everything seller. You don't have as much space as I do. And I get why you wouldn't. Is Crystal still in the chat? I'd like to know if she'd buy that shirt at that kind of sell-through rate.
I probably wouldn't have even looked it up because it was a Walmart brand. And there's nothing for me to describe it other than a blue polo shirt size large. And there's got to be, Crystal says 100% she would buy it. But you both are mainly clothing sellers. So that's great for you guys. And that's something to think about in the future going forward. Was it actually like this Walmart store branded?
Yeah, it's a Walmart employee shirt.
Okay.
So it has it has the little Walmart logo, and I think it's an employee shirt you're allowed to wear to work. And so, right, some people would like a few extra shirts, not doing as much laundry. And so it sells.
So
they don't sell too much, but
so like Crystal says, she sells McDonald's and Menards uniform pieces before. Absolutely. I buy McDonald's uniform pieces. I buy Chick-fil-A uniform pieces. So if it was a Walmart employee piece, that makes a little bit more of a difference versus like a Walmart brand polo.
No, sure. It wasn't a Walmart brand polo. It was a Walmart employee shirt.
Yes, Bruce and Gussie says employee gear sells. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely is right.
Taco Bell is another one that sells, just saying.
Taco Bell. So Tommy wrote, I would have passed on that, not even looked it up apparently. And then he could apparently look up everything. Tommy, I really think you need to look up everything.
Especially employee stuff, for sure. I agree with that 100%.
But I do think Tommy has a point. I think and he's not a new reseller. Tommy's been around as long as I have. Okay. So, I think I met Tommy the first boss I went to, boss reseller remix I went to. So he's been around for a long time. And the fact that he wouldn't even have thought about it interests me because we kind of everybody does this. We kind of get a little tunnel vision and we think that isn't worth looking up. That isn't worth doing. And I'm saying challenge yourself to look up everything for a little while and see if you find other things that you could resell.
Karen says, do you put employee in the title?
I would.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I do. I put uniform as well.
Yep. Agreed. Okay. So the next item, I tried to find something that I thought was ridiculous and that maybe was at one time very needed and now isn't. And what I was thinking of is flip phones. And so when you remember, everyone all the dads used to have like the flip phone case on their belt, right? And and so there are 80,000 plus for sale on eBay at this exact moment. The 90 days was 3,300 had sold. Okay. So that kind of sell-through rate turns out to be 4.12%. So 4%. So I would not buy this. It would not be worth buying. So, and even if you got them very, 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 very cheaply,
for free, I still wouldn't take it.
Yeah. Even free at 4%. It's a long wait. It's a long time to be waiting on something. That's years. We're talking years at that point.
We're
So
waiting for that to come back around into style again. That's
exactly,
what you're waiting for that.
exactly. It's exactly what you're waiting for it to come back. So Clara wrote in the chat, I sold a McDonald's brown. Let me see if I can put it up here. I sold a brown 70s suit with embroidered logo on chest pocket for 600 and I got it for $5. It was from an employee, McDonald's employee. You know, it's interesting because because it was vintage, I bet a lot of people would think about it. But I bet if it was modern, a lot of us would walk right by it. So
I got a Ponderosa. Do you remember those? They were in our area, Ponderosas.
they were. Was that a northern thing? Did you guys have Ponderosa steakhouses?
I know we did, but I don't know if they were all over the place, right? Because we grew up in the same area. But I found one a few years ago. It was a button-up polyester, those itchy polyester button-up. And we used it as a Halloween costume, and then I sold it. It sold easily.
Not here in Southern California. Spruce and Gussie said. So Ponderosa was like a walk-up steakhouse. You'd walk up and you would order at how you wanted your steak, and then you got a tray, and then they had like a little
cafeteria then, right?
Kind of, yeah. And then they had a little buffet, and then you had a little tent that had the number on it, and they would bring you your food and pick up the thing. Yeah. It was a big deal. And it was a big deal when we were kids to go. It was like, now we'd probably shake our head at it, but also remember, sometimes you need to drill down. Example, an AT&T flip phone case could be an 89% sell-through rate. So that is absolutely something we are going to look at. I have this next, Tommy, because I agree with you. You never know when you drill down into the numbers. It's very true.
Gina knows salad bar and dessert. Okay,
exactly,
let me get on topic for a second. If you're in Pennsylvania, there's a place kind of like that. It's kind of like it. It's called Hoss's, Hoss. It's actually kind of good. Just saying. I'm a buffet kind of girl, so just saying. Go on.
Okay. So using sell-through rate to refine your sourcing decisions. Sourcing decisions?
I like
sourcing decisions. A high sell-through rate and a low SAP, meaning average selling price, could be quick flips, less profit per item, but you're getting your money right back out, right? A lower sell-through rate with a higher ASP, slower sellers, but a higher profit margin. So you're waiting for it to sell, but you're going to make more money. So in my opinion, the goal is to balance your fast-moving bread and butter stuff with slower premium inventory. That is kind of what I think the sweet spot is, because you want velocity in your store. You want your store to keep moving. You want your store to keep turning over. So this way you have both kind of items, and that can really make a big difference in the health of your overall store. And use your sell-through rate to forecast the inventory mix of your store. You can figure out the inventory, your own sell-through rate on your store, right? Figure out how many items you have listed right now, and then how many sold within the last, 30 days, and figure out what 90 days. Figure it out and see what your sell-through rate of your store is. Okay, so these are a little bit more advanced tips, but I wanted to throw them out there a lot. And Tommy kind of hit on one that I want to say. So, compare sell-through rate by brand and category together. So don't just look up brand or items type specifically, combine them. So like Nike sneakers may have a 45% sell-through rate, but Nike Air Max 97 might have a 65% sell-through rate. So narrow the comparison to the exact product and type when possible. Make sure you're comparing apples and apples.
And one of the things that Trish and I realized today is that even the smallest word can skew the results that you're looking at. I was searching things on my phone and she was searching things on the computer, and we came up with completely different names. We were looking for the same product of the product that I sold, the Moss polish cream, and we were getting such different results. So if you're doing this research to maybe look at what you want to buy in the future, I would look at it in a couple different ways. Like she's saying, not just Nike sneakers, but maybe more specific, because you're going to get, we looked up moss polish, moss metal polish, moss cream, and the differences were all over the place.
And
So
as it turned out, that had a good sell-through rate on all of those, right? So it wouldn't have mattered so much on that product, but on Nike, I think it would make a huge difference.
for sure. And
Yeah.
especially because Nike makes more than just shoes. Nike makes
Right.
a whole range of products, so
Right.
you definitely have to be more specific.
And then on that note, filter out lots or bundle listings, right? Because those are going to skew your list, skew your results also. It will distort the sell-through rate and make the category appear healthier or weaker than it really is if you have, because those are things, those are like anomalies rather than the regular everyday blah, blah, blah.
And it'll show you the average sale price too.
Yeah. Totally. Pay attention to sell price range. Sell-through rate without context of an average sold price can be misleading. A 60% sell-through rate at a $10 ASP may not be better than a 25% sell-through rate at a $50 ASP, right? So how fast you're going to sit on something and how much it costs, those two things go hand in hand. So when you're looking up comps, right, I always do, once you look up a comp, do you then filter it by highest price point?
Sometimes I just look and see. I think it depends on what the price is for me to purchase it, whether or not I look at the highest price or not. I'm mainly looking at the numbers, how many are listed versus how many are sold, generally. But if it's like, if I got to pay $10 for something, I might look, you know, I'm a thrifter, you know, I don't pay $10. Right, $10. So I might look then to see if I'm going to get that money back. But typically I don't look at on a day-to-day basis. I'm not looking at that.
Yeah,
Maybe
I get it.
When I go to list, when I'm trying to figure out what I should ask for it, I would look at it that way then, but probably not during sourcing.
Okay. So check seasonal shifts. A sell-through rate is highly time sensitive, right? So something, and this kind of, Pam has started a new listing party called Selling Current Events. And this kind of goes into that right now, right? So Absolutely. A celebrity could die. There could be a famous football game, the Super Bowl. There could be this, there could be that. Those things are time sensitive. You get a surge when those things happen in those items, right? So it's kind of about the same thing about seasonal. Winter coats.
The Phillies, for example, were just eliminated from the MLB playoffs. The Dodgers have advanced. So now people are, I mean, the Dodgers are pretty popular in general. So their items might spike in value. The Toronto Blue Jays eliminated the Yankees in the playoffs. Right. So I would assume their items are spiking, especially for the people in the United States, for example. We might want to wear a Toronto Blue Jays something, but we don't have a Toronto Blue Jays store nearby.
Right.
Because they're in Canada. So I might go to eBay or Poshmark or Mercari and see if I can find something, because I want to support the Blue Jays now that they eliminated the Yankees.
So do I.
But I've been supporting the Blue Jays all year. Just putting that.
I haven't. I could care less about anybody, but you know, I'm so anti-New York. It's ridiculous.
Me as well.
Not really. It's just a Boston thing. I'm just kidding. So she's not kidding. I am. But winter coats may have a 70% sell-through rate in winter, right? And 10% in June. Again, that goes into how long can you sit on it? Do you mind sitting on it? Are you all right not getting your money back out right away? All of those things come into play.
How much storage is that jacket going to take?
Exactly. The other thing you can use sell-through rate is to spot emerging trends, right? You can figure out by looking at this stuff, oh, this is going up. And if there's a sudden spike, why? Try to think about why it is happening. Is it a current event? Is there something else going on with it? Or is it just growing in popularity? And these things may be able to help you source better. Figure out, oh, I should be looking at this and see if I can find something like this.
if Taylor Swift wears it, you should probably
Exactly. If Tay-Tay wears it, you guys should get it. Compare your sell-through rate across platforms. Some categories sell faster on different marketplaces. So while this is eBay centric, I think this can be used for other. We were just talking about New York City, Laura. Laura goes, "Hey, I'm in New York." We don't. We're just kidding. We love upper state New York.
exactly.
I used to live in Ithaca, so I'm good. I do not hate you guys. But eBay, Macari might be better for something. Poshmark may be better for something. Etsy may be better for something. But we can only go off the information we can get. So if you know what it is on eBay and you know it usually sells better on something else, you can kind of extrapolate that out once you have the data. So make sure you're cross-listing, make sure you're, doing all the things to be able to get the right eyes on it.
And that's one of the things, like you were just talking about, what we're doing in selling current events is we're supposed to be looking at, say Dodgers gear, and then see if it goes up in popularity over the next 2 weeks because they're in the playoffs. And that can determine whether or not you want to buy something.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah, come to current events. It's fun. And it's going to be every other week. And on the opposite week is what?
We're going to talk about the dreaded social media.
The dreaded social media. But it's going to be the same time every week. Pam's going to have a party. It's just going to rotate topics. And it is Wednesdays?
Wednesdays at 2 Eastern time on Listing Party, which comes with your List Perfectly subscription.
It is. And if you are List Perfectly users and you have not been on Listing Party, you are missing out. In my opinion, Listing Party is the best part of List Perfectly. The List Perfectly is a great tool. It is an awesome tool. But the people in Listing Party and what you get out of Listing Party, we talked about this morning in Mastermind a little bit, is just fabulous. And I'm not denigrating our product at all by saying that. But if you want to get to the next level and you want to learn and you want to figure this stuff out, Listing Party is a really great, helpful tool. And I hope you guys will all come and show up. I would appreciate it.
For sure. And referral partners, drop your code in the comments. And if you haven't started using List Perfectly, we've got 30% off for you. And what is it?
Right.
Like 5 days you can try it for free.
Yeah, there's a money back guarantee for 5 days, and including in that is Listing Party. So you could come on over and see us for a week. Pam and I would love it.
For sure. Crystal says the software is awesome, but the people are awesomer.
Thanks, Crystal. Apply the sell-through rate to local sourcing. So you know that you guys can all filter by zip code. So when you are on left-hand navigation on laptop, I do not know if I could talk you through this otherwise, but on left-hand navigation on laptop, you can put in your zip code and then do how many miles around it you want to do. And that can do a couple of things. It can show you what's available for sourcing in your area. Maybe there's a factory you don't know about. Maybe there's a wholesale place you don't know about, and this might be a way to kind of figure it out. All right, so Pam's showing you on mobile how to do it right there.
Yep, you can look it up by zip code as well, right in there. So you just go under filter, and then item location. Filter and item location.
Oh, and Tiffany just wrote in the chat. Tiff, I'm glad you brought that up. I talked about it this morning in Mastermind. Tiffany is going to start every other week. I'm glad you wrote that because I wasn't sure when it was. Every other week on Tuesday, she's going to have a Poshmark party. And when we say party, it's really a class or a networking session or a working session. It's informational. It's educational. They are fun. Sometimes it's silly, but it's more like this kind of stuff than just hanging around and being amused by each other. But Tiffany, I heard through the grapevine, Tiffany said that we're a little eBay centric. And so she wanted to bring some Poshmark. And I agree with her. We are eBay centric. I personally need eBay centric because they give us the most data to work with. And so it allows me to make informed decisions. I wish
Looking forward to it, Tiffany, for sure.
me too. I really am also. And I wish Poshmark would give us a little bit more data to be able to play with a little bit more. But yeah. So I'm really looking forward to know that. Tiffany, items from the cell said, good. I'd like to know how to do a Posh closet clear out. Right. There is all this stuff that I'm like, what in God's name does that mean? So I agree with you. Items from the South. Cute name.
So other reasons to join us here at List Perfectly in Listing Party. There's just so much information you can gather.
I agree completely. So another thing you can do is use your sell-through rate to set a maximum buy cost. So you kind of work it backwards. If you want to 3 times ROI, so return on investment is ROI. If you want to 3 times that, and an item sell-through rate is only 15%, right? That means 15% of them have sold in 90 days. So that means you could be sitting on it for quite a while. You want to make sure you buy it cheaper to offset the slower selling cost. A higher sell-through rate categories allow for a higher buy cost because you're going to turn it over faster and you're not going to be sitting on that money as long. So it really can help you figure out a lot of things, not just whether it's worth buying, but it can also help you figure out how much it's worth paying for something. Now, for slow moving categories, look beyond the 90 days. Go in and change your 90 days to 12 months sold for a more realistic picture. Okay. I say that for things that have a really low sell-through rate, but are worth a lot of money. It can be worth sitting on them, especially if you can get them at a great price. It can really be worth sitting on them. You just need to know that you're making the right decision. And so look at a year instead of, and if the sell-through rate is still only 50%, now we're talking 2 years to sell it, right? Now, of course, you could sell it in 3 days. You could sell it in 3 months. But if that's the kind of sell-through rate it has, it could take that long to sell. So if you can get a Baccarat crystal, Baccarat is crystal, right? Baccarat crystal lamp. I
thought that was like a game at the casino. I don't know.
No. I know what you're trying to say. And I already can't speak English well. They already make fun of my accent. You're throwing stuff in like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just saying that's all I know.
Right. Let's say Tiffany's lamp. If you found a Tiffany lamp and it's both. Thank you, Karen. I thought maybe,
We're both right. Thank goodness.
We're both right. Thank you, Karen. But if you found something and it's very expensive and you can get it, let's say it's worth $2,000, you can buy it for $200 and the year sell-through rate is 50%. To me, that would be worth buying. But for some other people, maybe it wouldn't. So you just have to make sure when you're making these decisions, you're looking at what you need to look at. Looking at a year can only be done in product research, right? Not the normal search. I believe you are correct, Tommy. So
yeah, I just tried to find it on my phone to see if I could change the time period, and you cannot. So it's eBay research, which used to be Terapeak. You can
exactly.
I think you can go up to 2 years, or is it?
I think it's 3 now. Terapeak. Terapeak used to be almost unlimited, and when eBay bought it, it went down to 2, and recently they went to 3 years. So you can definitely do that. Yeah. So, but remember this. This is the last thing that I'm going to say. Remember that your store has a sell-through rate also, right? And this could be used to make projections, see how good you are doing, and seeing how well your sourcing is going. So look at your own sell-through rate. Rate yourself. How would you rate your store? And usually I think the stores that are doing the best have a mix of high and low, are not just one or the other. They have both going for them. And so for me, that's kind of a great mix to have because you want the ability to make a few more bucks on certain things. But at the same time, if I don't have daily sales, something's wrong.
Right. And you need the higher and the lower because you need to have movement in your store.
Exactly. The velocity absolutely helps in eBay. So Pam and I are going to go over to Listing Party. We have an after show after all these shows on Friday. We do after shows, which means we just go in there and talk about what we just talked about. And if anybody has any questions, we'd love to hear from you. My store sell-through rate ranges from 13 to 18%. Karen, what do you sell? Looking for year. Yeah. So everybody knows where you can find eBay product research. If you don't, come over. We'll show you where it is. And Pam, thank you so much. I hope this was helpful for some people.
I think it was. We had a lot of great comments. So I think it really helps. I think all of these things really help. So thanks for putting it together, Trish. I was happy to be here.
Of course. No problem. You know me, I love a good presentation. Listen,
we need a presentation, contact Trish.
I like it because I screenshot stuff. Like I'll screenshot, be like, oh, I should remember that. And I screenshot it. So presentations are always I really do love them. I hope that you guys will all have a great weekend. And I hope we'll see you over in Listing Party in a minute. Sure. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.